What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Wednesday, October 1st edition of Unpaved. He's Sean Salisbury. I'm Adam Sager. Follow him on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered, me at Adam G. Sager. Sean, we got a ton to talk about today. Fun day of baseball yesterday with all four series kicking off wild card series. We're going to talk a move made by the Browns at the quarterback position, which we discussed a little bit yesterday. The fact that they should make a move, and they did after our show ended. I want to talk about the Eagles because there's some alarming stats going on with them, but yet they continue to win. So I want to discuss how they're continuing to win and if it should be a worry for Eagles fans. And then we got college football. We've got 5 or 6 openings of big time schools right now.
I've never seen it this early in a season. I've never ever seen this.
So I kind of don't want to rank them, but talk about which one we think are the quote unquote sleeping giant that someone could come in and turn around quickly, and then what jobs could be or should be opening. But something new we're doing starting today, the poll question of the day on Unpaved on Rumble, or at Unpaved on Rumble on Twitter. Who should start in place of Joe Flacco? Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, or nobody keep starting Joe Flacco? Right now, as we sit, Dylan Gabriel has a 52% to 27 and 20 are the next two. So we can keep you up to date on that during the show as we talk about it later in the show. And then that'll be up all the way till tomorrow morning. And we'll figure out where the people stand on the Browns with the poll question. So right now you even see Shedeur's last, which actually kind of shocked me, but we'll get into that later on in the show. Sean, I think we got to start with the best player in the world in his sport, and that's Shohei Ohtani. I mean, this dude is an absolute monster. I know he struck out 3 times, but led the game off with a bomb. 2 for 5, 2 home runs, had another one later, I think in the 6th inning, 3 RBIs. I mean, he's just so good. Oh, and he's one of the best pitchers in the world as well.
Most unique athlete in sports history.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to play 2 or 3 sports and be good at them. We know guys that have done it, Brian Jordan, Dion, Bo, and be really good at them. And I didn't say he's the best athlete in the world. I said he's the most unique athlete on the planet. Yeah. Because if he just focused on one, he may very well be the best at both. Either one. If he was a pitcher, I'm convinced he wins 20 games and wins a Cy Young on that roster. I just am. And it has a low ERA and still pump at 100. And if he wanted to get more velo on a consistent basis, eggs, he could. I believe that. This dude's people don't realize how big he is. Right? This is a monster. When you think about like old school sprinters, Segs, like Ben Johnson and our old school 5'10", Carl Lewis was a little more sinewy, right? But they're not 6'4". They don't look like DK Metcalf, right? Okay, but you know who does? Is Usain Bolt. When he was busting 9.6s and 9.7s, we're talking 6'5", like Megatron. We're talking 6'5", 230.
Yeah.
So just freakish, right? So you look at that and say, how are we doing that? But our athletes have changed. Now you got a guy who can pump at 100 and win a Cy Young if he wants to, I'm sure. And you got a guy who's the most unique athlete in the world and the most unique player in his sport. But he also, there's nothing he doesn't do well. And nothing he does great. He's must watch. If you don't like the Dodgers, you still got to watch him. He's worth double the price of admission because you never know what you're going to get, a 500-footer. And Segs leads off with a home run. Guess what? Change the tempo right off the bat and change the energy for the Reds, who've been playing great baseball to get in. They've had to play well. And he sends an early message, and then all of a sudden just say, well, I'll send a late one. And if you notice 3 strikeouts don't affect him, it's just, I'll go get mine too. You can't – he is – well – the last time the Dodgers won a World Series, sans 2020, say, as you see, with the 2020 was that they won the 60 games schedule, right? Mm-hmm. They won that. Well, and then they win last year. Well, it was 1988. I had 2 buddies that played for them in Saxon and Mike Marshall, and they hadn't sniffed it since. So the 2020, I don't want to take away their crown. They won it during a COVID year. They couldn't control it. Fine, but really, when you take the asterisks away, their next real World Series was last year. And who was on that team? Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei
Okay.
Ohtani.
I'm not saying they weren't loaded, but he elevated it to a whole nother level. Because even if he's not playing well, it's like a big-time superstar running back in your backfield. Look at Barkley. 20-some touches in the Super Bowl, but not really effective because they had to key his Spagnuolo did a good job shutting. He opened up big plays for everybody else. It's the same thing here. When he's in the lineup, even if he doesn't hit, you've got to find, okay, yeah, I can't pitch to this guy. And when you do, he doesn't miss, kind of like Bonds in his time. If you missed by half an inch, he pounded you. And if you missed by half an inch outside, he didn't swing at it and he walked. I mean, it just – and Ohtani's just – and when I watch him, he continues to leave jaw-dropping moments for you, but he makes other guys better because of his presence. And it's a unique athlete that does that, and he's great at pitching. He's great at hitting. The ball explodes off his bat. I just – listen, there is nobody better, and when he's going, man, the best thing – we're at the point now you best not pitch to him. You're just silly to pitch to him. You just don't.
This is a guy that stole 59 bases last year.
I know.
And this year he stole 20. The year before last, he stole 20. So he's got over 100 stolen bases in the last, or I guess that's 99 stolen bases in the last.
Well, he's averaging 33 a year over the last 3 years as a guy who does everything.
And I just did quick math, and don't check my math, but his Fangraphs WAR with pitching and hitting over the last 3 years is basically right at 33. So, I mean, we're talking 11 wins a year he's worth when you put everything together. And it's just incredible what this guy continues to do, even with being injured. You know, he didn't pitch as much as he would have. I mean, that WAR could be close to 40 if he was healthy pitching. Like
limited everything for him, pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm watching Sigs.
He's just incredible.
He passes all the analytics tests by far, all these crazy ass WAR, all the stuff we got,
everything.
WAR plus whatever, everything. And then the eye test is just sick. You know what I'm saying? It's a pleasure to watch Shohei Ohtani play baseball.
Yeah.
It just is. And you know what? Sometimes we're always looking for faults in people and stuff. Just enjoy it, because when he's gone, you're not going to see a guy like him. We can't even get guys to go 6 innings, which we'll get to in the playoffs. We can't get guys to pitch 6 innings. You pick 5 2/3, you're a hero. So how in the hell are you going to ever get a guy that gets to do both like him again? Be a starting pitcher and hit. And even if they do get to do both segs, how are they going to do it this well? You just can't. I don't know how. I mean, how can you be the best lawyer in the world and doctor at the same time? Oh, I got to go give orthopedic surgery. Oh, what are you doing after that? I'm going to grab a quick peanut butter and jelly sandwich and go try this murder case with the cartel. And I'm going to win both. Okay. It's like, what? In sports terms, that's who he is. That's exactly who he is. Oh, by the way, Ohtani's, he's a pitcher. Yeah, 2.47 ER, and he's not really fully healthy yet. So it is sick watching this guy play. And in truth, with the global approach he has, Stiggs, he's making all that money. He's probably worth every penny, considering what he's bringing, 100%. The value he brings to it, no doubt.
Especially when you have an organization like the Dodgers that are so big in Japan. The Giants are so big in Japan, the Yankees, the Red Sox. So the fact that he's playing on the Dodgers, and I know he was in LA with the Angels at first, but since the move to the Dodgers, things have just exploded even more. But the thing I love about him is the swing. I mean, the swing's just so pretty, the way he can just pull his hands through. I mean, it's not the same as Griffey's swing, but it's just as pretty, in my opinion, the way, because he adds that little Japanese style where they kind of pull their hands first, more so than, Americans do. It's just a different style of swing that they swing. But it's the prettiest we've seen. Yes. Yeah. And they stay through the zone so much longer. It's just crazy how good this guy is. And I talked yesterday. He's also,
even with the long swing and a big body, Segs, he's still quick to the baseball. Now, he'll strike out, but he's still quick to the ball. And he doesn't get cheated, which is still amazing. That, dude, you blink and he's got 45. I mean, anything he does now should not shock you at all. If he goes and wins a Triple Crown someday, we say, well, he's not going to hit for 330 average. Well, I remember watching Aaron Judge every year get better in the last 2 years, 3+. He's been in Triple Crown mode. We know what Miggy did. You got prodigious power with a guy that if he sets his mind to it, said, maybe I want to lead the league in hitting this year. I'm not so sure he couldn't, just because if the guy said I run 4.640 or 4.440, it wouldn't shock me. Dude, stealing 50+ bases last year. I marvel at him. And while I grew up in California, Segs, and there's a lot of good players on that team, I stay up and watch him even if it's a blowout, because every at bat may give you something that you haven't seen.
Right, exactly. Yesterday, I talked about how deep that Dodger lineup is. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, and Teoscar Hernandez went 9 of 18 with 4 home runs. Ohtani hit 2, Hernandez hit 2, but 7 RBIs. They had 2 walks. Freeman and Betts, got on base 3 times each. So, I mean, just that lineup so good. Blake Snell was awesome. He went 7, which you just kind of talked about. Guys, we don't see that anymore, but we did have multiple guys yesterday.
And we didn't do it. We don't do it in the postseason. It takes at the sign of anything. We get him out, especially in a short season. Get him out now. And
so that tells you how good he was. He only gave up 2 earned runs, struck out 9 over 7. I mean, he was really good as well.
Listen, and I was surprised. You know how my affinity for Terry Francona and the way the Reds have played. He elevates people. I was actually surprised at how overwhelmed they look in the game. It was a bit shocking to now. I think we may get a little different look, and maybe they'll get swept. Who knows? Because I know when you're the home team in the just so people don't know, home team in a wild card, you stay there the whole time. You don't get to go play one in your building. I would imagine Tito probably let them know that it's okay. We'll go back and try to do it again. For them, they just want to put danger in it and get it to game 3 and hope that you get it. That somebody has one of those out-of-body experiences. But I was a little shocked. Of the 4 games, the biggest disappointment was how, and I know they scored some runs late, but how they got down so bad so early, and then you're in a chase mode the whole time. But
yeah,
it's still a pleasure. Their depth, and those first 4 guys are going to, Segs, we always say, the middle of your lineup has to produce, and the beginning to the middle of their lineup. And, you look at a guy like Ohtani, I can lead him off, he'll still 50. I can hit him second, and people are afraid to pitch to him, and he'll protect you. I can hit him third because, that's, old school. The best hitter was your third hitter.
Right.
But I can hit him 4th or 5th because he's a run producer, and you put more people on base just means more RBIs that he's bringing home. He's a unique player that there's nothing he does that surprises you. If he comes out and throws left-handed next week and starts and throws 7 innings, and instead of right-handed, I'm like, oh, what a shock. He had it in his bag all the time. We just never saw it. Oh, this one's got a problem. I'm not healthy here. Let me throw left-handed and pump it 104 or whatever. Right. So I know we get fatigued with great players. Don't be fatigued by this. He's just really, really special. That's Captain Obvious thing.
And Hunter Green, I mean, he just didn't have his best stuff. And Young, right. You hope he can, if they were to lose today and they're out of the playoffs, you hope he can get back, because that guy has a ton of talent, but he just wasn't able to get going from the jump because
happens, man. The Dodgers aren't exactly the easiest team to want to go beat in their building.
Right. Moving on. How tight was your, how much did you pucker last night during that 9th inning of that Red Sox Yankees up 3-1? Chapman comes in, gives up the single, bases loaded, no outs. I couldn't believe the Yankees didn't run for Goldschmidt. What are you doing? First of all, but how tight were you puckered during that 9th inning? And then to see him get out of it was just incredible pitching by him after the rough start to the inning.
Nail, sledgehammer. Still wouldn't have been able to drive it into my ass. Okay, dude. I got up and started the pacing part of my OCD at pacing. And I'm looking at, the numbers of the great year we've seen, that like a rejuvenation of everything that the overpowering closer lefty has. And he was great. And, it's like, oh, okay, he's going to pull it. Then bingo, bango, bongo. I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's New York. Don't let it happen. Right. And then you started to see them pucker. There's 1 out. And then there's 2 outs, and then he pumps up the gas and gets out of it, which was awesome. But Segs, I thought that Cora did a good job of handling that game. He did. I know the early start, they get out, and then the Yankees do their thing. As I talked to you yesterday, we had that low scoring, not sans the Dodgers game. We thought that the pitching in the other 3, that if you got to 3 or 4 runs, you were going to win. And it pretty much held true for the most part. But you look at the effort that you got. Hell, I would have probably kept Max Fried in longer if I was the Yankees. I don't know why Booney went to somebody. I mean, as I saw one that Gary Sheffield Jr. is a great follow on Twitter, and he said, "Yeah, God, make sure you rest Max Fried, get him some rest so he's ready for next March." It's like, dude, now you're down one, and all that you talk about tripping. The people in New York are tripping, but I was Segs. But when you get the closeout, even though it's in that high leverage situation, I've seen the movie with Kimbrel as a Red Sox where it's like, okay, you're great, but man, could you please quit putting runners on to drive me crazy? Make them earn it by hitting singles. They earned it, but the walks would have killed me. I'd have even been more uptight. But Segs, before that, a couple things that stuck out. Obviously, great bit of base running when he took second on an extra effort and then got driven in. They scored 2 that inning on Bregman's. Was that the one where they got Bregman? Yeah, down the left field line where he drove into. Is the effort. That's the one thing the Red Sox do. I mean, they will get guys that they're always being aggressive to give you a chance to get in scoring position. And it ended up being a big part of the game. And Bregman's a Yankee killer and did it again as he continues to do. But Segs, I was so impressed with Cora and Crochet yesterday. And why? Because of, Seg, when's the last time in a playoff game on the road, no matter how good Garrett Crochet is, that you're going to leave a guy in to go 117 pitches? It doesn't happen. At around 85 to 90, even if they're going good and the velo's the same, and he was still pumping it at 97, 98, and then 99, you would have seen most of them say, oh, a couple bad pitches, let's get him out. Let's get to our bullpen. And you're like, no. And Crochet was going so good and a couple little hiccups, but then would get out of it. And then when he went out, it's like, I loved it. 117th pitch. He pumps at 100 and like he comes out and Cora pops out of the dugout, get him out, and then took care of his business. Like he knew he still had a hundy in him. And that's 117 pitches in, which most, this modern age, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. You absolutely can. If Max Fried would have stayed in, they may not have been in this situation because he was pitching well. I loved it. And dude, it was a loud message sent. Just to show you, I can give you $117, $120. I'm going to ramp it up to a hundy. So you understand that on my way out, I'm going to make sure you know what you saw from another ace that's left-handed. He doesn't only reside in Detroit. Spectacular performance by him.
Yeah, Garrett Crochet is just so fun to watch. I watched him grow as a White Sox fan because he came from the White Sox in a trade last winter, but he's so effortless to be able to throw on, like you said,
doesn't waste a lot of motion.
No, and it's just he's got that high leg kick, and then he just lets it go, and it just explodes.
He engages his legs, so that's why he can throw it 170 pitches, and still more velo than he had in the third inning.
Right.
He topped out, I think, at 100. It was his last pitch. That showed me something. You got to have balls to stick with a guy because you don't want to. He walked one, then one more hit. You were an inning too late.
Right.
Crochet made sure you weren't an inning too late with that. Hell, you could have argued he'd come out and give you 130 of those damn things the way he was pitching.
Right. Yeah, he only gave up 4 hits. The one earned run was the home run to Volpe in the second inning, I believe it was. He had 11 strikeouts.
And then they didn't
walk anybody.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you could just see after that home run, he just settled down. Like it was just, he's like, all right, let's go. This is playoffs.
He was painting too, brother. He was where you can't get to.
He was incredible. But yeah, that 9th inning by Chapman, I still was just sitting there watching. I'm just kind of laughing like this can't happen. I wasn't laughing one bit, dude. Yeah. This series, it just can't happen. Like Chapman, if they would have lost that game, let's say, and then you go in and you happen to lose game 2, it's just
after the season he's had.
Yeah.
And after Chapman the performance by Crochet.
Go from loved being the season he had and with the Red Sox to hated immediately until he could come back and get another shot at it next season if they were to lose, today,
no doubt.
and be knocked out by the Yankees. But
trust me,
especially being an ex-Yankee who had, all those years with New York. So it was just, I'm glad for him.
Glad he's a Red Sox.
That he got out of that in the 9th inning. We talk about pitchers not going 7. Well, neither Matthew Boyd nor Nick Pivetta went 7. Matthew Boyd went 4.1 innings pitched, and then Pivetta went 5. So that was more the new school playoff game like we've seen where you're depending more so on your bullpen. And the Cubs bullpen showed up huge They 4 2/3, didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a walk, struck out 4. They were perfect to end the game. That's exactly what you need. And then they got the big home runs from Suzuki and Kelly in the 5th or 6th, which it was the 5th because that's when Pivetta got knocked out.
They went and got it, right.
So, yep.
Safe
so
with that game too.
A low-scoring game as well there.
Right. It was, and Pivetta was dealing, dude. He was, I mean, in and out, and he was doing a great job of pounding the upper part of the strike zone and out of the strike zone to get him to chase and his late life on his fastball. And then 2 pitches, man. It was just 2. And they had the plan. It was that, and Suzuki got one on the inner third, the inner part of the plate, and went down and got it. And then, well, who hit the second?
Carson Kelly.
Yeah, Carson Kelly. And he went up out of the strike zone because he elevated where he'd been getting people out on swing and miss. And he homered, and the wind was blowing in. So both of them got all of it, but they guessed right. And then that ended it for Pivetta. And the Padres bullpen, while good, wasn't. It was the solid bullpen for the Cubs that came in and were damn near flawless. But Segs, sidebar on that. We'll talk about relief pitchers, dude, and how much I love watching Ohtani. Dude, when I watch Mason Miller pitch, first of all, he's got that dog, a prick at him. After he struck the guy out, the guy was bitching. He's like, sit the fuck down or fuck you. And he's just in a way of like, I mean, he's
an asshole out there.
And I love it. That's how my guy that throws it like that needs to be. Yep. And I want when they describe, oh man, what a great player, he can pump it, but boy, what a prick. I love that with guys out there. And he has the look that he's like disgusted with everybody on the other team, right?
Right.
But Segs, he's throwing a $103, a $104. He's living at 101, 102.
Yeah, like it's
and
nothing.
He ain't missing. And he ain't missing. And if you're not looking that pitch, you can't. If you're looking slider, you can't catch. You can't. It's back to the pitcher throwing it back to him by the time your bat's through the hitting zone, right? And then he's got this wicked slider that's his best pitch.
Yes.
And he's doing it. Guys are up there. It might have been the who homered again the second. I'm losing my mind. Sakes in the
Carson Kelly.
Homer? Yeah, Carson Kelly. It might have been him. I think it was because I'm watching. I'm so intrigued with Mason Miller, and dude, he throws him a slider that Mason Miller. I mean, that Kelly missed by 4 feet. The announcer said, he goes, he wasn't even close. He's like, well, yeah, when you throw it a $103 and then been at 87 miles, 15 miles an hour different, and if you don't. I mean, whether dude, he could have bounced it at 40 feet. You know, when you're in little league, you're just like not real sure you're first at bat. I'm going to close my eyes and hack. It's like, I mean, he can embarrass you. Yeah. And he goes bingo, bango, bongo, 1 inning, strikes out 3 and does his job and walks off mad at the world. And I just am looking at him and his efficiency with his lower half. It is just, it's disgusting trying to hit that guy. And what a get for the Padres, man. It's almost like I need more Mason Miller, but you know what? I know when you're pumping it at $103 and tapping out, but that dude, his out pitch isn't just the gas; it's that damn slider, man. It's nasty.
Yeah, you saw Triple E put the highlight up of him striking out Pete Crow Armstrong to end the inning, and it was a slider in the dirt that Pete Crow Armstrong could not lay off of, and the catcher had to block it, get it, and then go tag him out. And you just see Miller just walking. Yeah, here it is. He's just walking. He's just kind of, they're like trying to tag each other at the plate, and he's just walking, saying something. Yeah, just
sit down. What he said, I'm a lip reader. He said, "Shut the fuck up," is what he said, because he was, about like the thing. It was
walking off, just like, I ain't got time for your bullshit.
But can you blame? Can you PCA and can you blame them? And those guys chasing, it's like, dude, okay. And I also like when you're, that time when you said, okay, you look at the catcher and when your buddy's the catcher, and you're like, what's he throwing? Fastball. Okay, so I catch up that. Oh, then he bends one off of your buddy who could throw it as a curveball. He's like, "Why, you lying son of a bitch?
Yeah.
Like, why'd you tell me?" That's what he does. That's what. Yes. And if put it this way, if you get embarrassed by Mason Miller because you missed by 7 feet on a swing, guess what? Nobody can be mad at you because everybody in the world's like, well, what do I do? Because it's not like he's throwing 103, 104 out of the strike zone all the time. The guy could pump it and locate it. And it was a pleasure to watch, but good on the Cubs. 2 clutch hits when they needed them, bullpen when they needed it. Pivetta had it going on. The Padres, and they did a good job of thwarting a really good lineup. And it's just like Mason Miller's I'd like to just watch him warm up in the bullpen just because he's so good. But watching him pitch is pretty impressive. It's Crochet and Scooble were stupid yesterday.
Yeah. If the Cubs are going to advance, and they could today with a win, Pete Crow Armstrong has to be better. I mean, his second half, he's been awful. You know, I think his on base percentage is like 260 in the second half. He's been
think he's tired.
It might be. I don't know. I mean, it's just
or pitching around as it gets later, they get tougher because it's getting
25 home runs in the first half. So you're thinking this kid could put up 40 as a youngster, and then he goes out and just hits 6 in the second half, and you know, hitting 217 or whatever it was. It's just they need him now. He gives you great defense. He'll steal you a bag, but he's got to get on base first. And they need more from him if they're going to win a World Series, or at least
there's no doubt, and he knows that too.
Series. Yeah, and yesterday he was 0 for 3 with 3 Ks, and that just isn't going to fly. You just can't do that.
Right.
So, and then real quick, we talked about it yesterday as it was going on. It ended right after the show. Tigers 2, Guardians 1. Scooble, arguably the best pitcher on the planet. I mean, 14 Ks, gave up 1 earned run, and he gave that up early, like in the second inning. He went 7 2/3, only gave up 3 hits. I mean, he's just one of those guys that you look at, another left-hander like Crochet, and it's lights out when you play against him.
Those two, he and Crochet both, and Scooble is focusing on him now. That's one where you're like, okay, it's going to be it's like when you play the best defense in the NFL. It's like, okay, we know that it's going to be a 13-10 game.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to make sure we're the ones with 13, and that we get that. We take a 6-minute drive and get punched in the mouth, but find a way to hold on the ball, and our kicker makes a 49-yarder, and we win the game. When you're facing him, it's not, that's okay. We're just getting started in the inning, and they got started. But when you saw him settle in after that and started getting all the strikeouts, you think, you just got no shot. I've told you the story, Sakes, and maybe I haven't. I thought I did. John Kruk tells a phenomenal story, and he tells it in only the way Krucker can, about Walt Riniak.
Mm-hmm.
When he was playing with the White Sox, Riniak was the hitting instructor, and Riniak comes from the one hand off the bat, George Brett, Charlie Lau, Charlie Lau, A-Rod, the guys who are leg kick, one hand off the bat. That's the Charlie Lau, Walt Riniak school of hitting. And Walt is like an East Coast, I think he might even be a Boston guy, but an East Coast hardcore, Walt Riniak guy, right?
Yeah.
I think it's Boston. And he's well respected over the years. And Clemens was pitching the day they were playing. So Krucker tells the story, and like I said, far better than I can. But I was crying laughing. And in Krucker's voice, he said, "Oh, yeah." He said, I'm at the ballpark one day, and Walter, because we were talking about tough guys to hit off, right? And pitches and pumping it and how good they are. And he said, yeah, he called Walt Riniak Walter. That's what Crocker called him. He goes, like, yeah. He goes, Sean, we came to the ballpark one day, and it was day game. And he goes, I'm in the dugout, and Walt's sitting in there just getting ready and, stressing out, doing it all. And Krucker said, I went up to Walter and said, hey, Walter, how we doing today? And he goes, Krucker, hey, we got to face Clemens today. He goes, well, what do you think? How are we going to do? He goes, we got no fucking shot, Krucker. We got no shot. He's got that splitter, fastball because he's got that splitter. We got no shot. We got no shot to hit Clemens today. No shot, Krucker. The guys and went on. And I said, well, what was the result? He said, we had no fucking shot. Krucker said, he was right. We had no shot, which is like Scooble. And when they're going that good, that when you go in the batting structure after about an inning or even during pregame warmup, when they're going that good, and although you're saying it kind of tongue-in-cheek, but the truth of the matter is you're saying it factual.
Right.
That unless we do some out-of-body experience with the way the guy's going, we got no shot. I'm sure teams have felt like that about with Greg Maddux and guys. The difference is when you got all those pitches and the splitter, but you're throwing it 100, which Maddux didn't do, then there's the overpowering part. So you get not only finesse to death, but you also get physical to death, like you're taking body blows. And Crochet brings the same stuff. So I would imagine – if you're the hitting instructor, as good as Cleveland's been, you're going and saying, we got no fucking shot against this guy today, man. This is good. And it just reminded me how Krucker described Riniak, a great hitting instructor. And, well, it's Clemens, and there's why he's carrying 7 or so size around. And when he's going good, you might as well just I'll see you tomorrow in game 2 or whatever it is. So pretty funny the way he described it.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's how you got to feel. And if you're the opposite starting pitcher, you got to feel like you have to throw a no-hitter. Like you have to be perfect to beat Scooble or Crochet or whatever, because I mean, 2-1, you guys lost. So the pitching did well for Cleveland, and they still lost the game.
Well, we said first guy to 3 6, and we cheated them. First guy to 2.
Yeah, first guy to 2.
Yeah, so you might have
and they made a nice play to end not end the game, but in the 9th inning when Ramirez got to 3rd on the error, and then guy hit the ball back to the pitcher, and the pitcher made the right move. He didn't just throw to first. He went and he got Ramirez in a rundown and got him out, and it was a big time play and a big time moment that would have tied the game if he didn't have that wherewithal
Ramirez
to
is one
go
of my
get
favorite.
Ramirez.
Ramirez is one of my favorite players. Is there anybody more underrated in baseball still?
No.
For every year, I mean, and he took less to stay there. That guy can play for my team anytime, man.
Yeah,
he provides everything you want. But good on Detroit. You knew that was going to be a problem, as well as Cleveland has played to catch them or run them down. Detroit was going to be a problem because of that front end of their rotation is pretty damn good.
Are you worried at all going into into today's games for the Red Sox? I mean, you're going against Rodon, who's Bellows pitching for the Red Sox. Do you still feel good about going against Rodon? And
I think we're getting to game 3, Segs. I think the Yankees can now listen. I think that Bello is going to be. He's already proven he's got some. Yeah, it's bright, man. He's got a bright future. He is really friggin' good. But we're going to find out. You know, you're always looking for guys like this that are pretty young, Segs, that haven't been in these moments a lot in their life. Some never until it comes up. You know, that are new at it. How you handle. Now, you've seen Yankee Stadium, but how you handle it in these moments, an elimination game. You're the guy that can eliminate him. Do you elevate? How are you? Is the moment too big? I wish we had what Justin Thomas had on, a monitor on his, like in his wristband or in his glove that pushed again one of his veins. I'm always interested to see where the heart rate is in pressure moments. I think it's a great visual for TV and to kind of tell us. And some guys, if their heart rate's through the roof, are better. Most guys, when their heart beats down, it's like they feel more relaxed. So I'm anxious to see. Advantage Yankees, aside from the fact they're down 1. Rodon's been in plenty of big moments, but sometimes young and inexperienced and just, hey, what do you got to lose but a game is pretty good. But you'll know pretty soon, early in the game, where Bellows' location is. But I do like him because I think he's got a phenomenal future. I think he's pretty damn good. And you're running him out there too, Segs, in an elimination game, so it's important. Right.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch all the games again today. But baseball just hits different in the postseason, just like hockey. You know, once the playoffs start, like I like watching baseball throughout the year, and I always have the MLB package where I can watch all the games. So I just throw on different games throughout, you know, the week and watch different teams because my White Sox suck. But you know, so I just like to watch Ohtani late at night, you know, after the White Sox and stuff, or throw on a Giants game late and see what Devers is doing. But playoffs just hit different. You're on the edge of your seat, just like in hockey, because hockey's the best playoff sport we have.
No doubt.
I definitely think baseball brings something else to the table once they hit playoffs.
Well, Segs, on a football Sunday right now, if there's a day game battling them, now you got what a nice innovation. We can watch all kinds of games at once. But if I had to watch one on Sunday, postseason baseball, the drama of every pitch leading up to it is why I love it. And I'm with you. I said there, even when my team's not in it, like the Reds, I'm still watching.
Yeah.
And that's what now sometimes during the season, I'll watch Milwaukee. I want to see those great arms. Oh, okay, I missed it. No big deal. I'll catch it tomorrow. But postseason, I'm not missing. I don't want to miss Mason Miller. I don't want to miss Pete Crow Armstrong. I want to see Ohtani. I want to see how Crochet and Scooble do. And I want to see, and it's a good point that the Red Sox have gotten to Rodon in the past. The reason I say advantage Yankees because they're down 1. It's in their building, and it's a veteran versus a younger pitcher. I mean, it's an advantage. That doesn't mean they're going to win. And if they approach Rodon the way they have, then they're going to have a really good chance. You'd like to get to the Yankees bullpen. That's what you want to do, and you want to get to them, and we'll see if they can. And Rodon's a tough ass, and he'll get after it. So I'm looking forward to it. And Texans spur 80 Francona's not just a hell of a skipper. You'll be hard pressed to find anybody better in baseball than that guy. I think he's a Hall of Famer. And, it's not a mystery why the Cincinnati Reds got better this year, why they elevated their play. He gets it, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Switching sports, getting over back to the NFL.
Segs, before you do that, let me tell you about my guys at cryptocurrency. I know we've talked about it. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but listen, cryptocurrency right now is on fire, and I'm so grateful for their being a part of our show here and what they're doing, because I think there's a lot of people who don't quite understand still how it works. What is it? How do we do it? They're still out there because there's people that are behind the times. The cryptocurrency is on fire, and there is big news. And if you haven't heard it, listen up. Trump Media just signed a massive $6.4 billion deal with Yorkville Acquisition Group and Crypto.com. Remember that, CRYPTO, Crypto.com. It's the crypto platform trusted by millions of users worldwide. They're teaming up to acquire up to $6.4 billion in CRO to establish first CRO Treasury Trump Media Group with that CRO strategy. The crypto strategy. Once complete, the new company will be the largest publicly traded, so you can get all in on it, CRO holder out there. You ready to join the crypto revolution? If you're not, you're missing out. Don't get left behind. Do not get left behind. It's inevitable, folks. It's inevitable. You can't beat them. You got to join them. Head to crypto.com today and be part of this historic move. That's crypto.com. Don't wait. One other thing I want to tell you is that upon completion of this newly formed company, the $6.4 billion acquisition group with Crypto.com and Trump Media, Yorkville Acquisition Group, it'll be, again, the largest publicly traded CRO company on the planet. Crypto.com is where you go. Do not get left behind. Jump in, and the getting's good. $6.4 billion acquisition. It's Crypto.com. Man, I'm grateful to be a partner and to be a part of it. Crypto.com. Yes, Eggs. It is, man, that's whenever I hear the phrase 6.4 billion with a B on it, it's got my attention in anything, right? It's inevitable, so jump all over it. Grateful to have crypto a big part of this show. So there we go, my man. Back to football, as you were saying, you were about to transition into it.
Back to the NFL. We had the Philadelphia Eagles. They're sitting 4-0, kind of where we all expect them to be. But when you do a deeper dive into the team and what we've seen through the 4 weeks, there's nothing they're doing that's any bit special. Like last year, they had Barkley running wild every week, it seemed like. Jalen Hurts was just hitting touchdowns to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith all season long when Saquon Barkley wasn't scoring. This year, they're middle of the road in rushing. Their passing game is one of the worst in terms of yards. Is one of the worst in the league. Their total yards is third worst in the league. Only ones worse are the Titans and Saints, I think it is. And those are arguably, I think, the 2 worst teams in football, the Saints and the Titans. And then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, who sit 4-0. And it's not like their defense is just dominant, because they are middle of the road in defense, middle of the road in rush defense, middle of the road in pass defense. Quinyon Mitchell's one of the best corners in football. But overall, it's just not the pure domination we've seen from the last couple of years from the Philadelphia Eagles statistically in the scores, in the yards, in yards per carry, all those things. It's just middle of the road or bad when it comes to total yards. What is it to you that has this Eagles team 4-0 to start the season?
I think I can make it simple, Segs, that this is a one sport and a one-off at times when you look around and say, and I can tell you this going back, Jalen Hurts is never going to lead the league in passing yards. Never. Right. My affinity for him. Poised, smart, and does enough. And then when the big games are there, like the Super Bowl, he rears his head. People question, could he beat a team throwing the ball if you took away a running game? And he did. He beat the Chiefs. 2 outside receivers both got theirs, and he played good. And he's quite frankly outdueled the other quarterback in both Super Bowls he's been in when it comes to could have been the MVP if they'd have won the first one. Okay, we'll put that aside. He's never going to carry a team by himself on his shoulders. But there's no better fit for what the Eagles are trying to get accomplished. Now, the test is going to come when you got somebody who can throw 37 on you. Can you shoot it out when everything's not going good? Like you just mentioned, the kind of in the middle of the road in a lot of statistics. Mm-hmm. Can you elevate and be in a shootout and do something that's not comfortable for the Eagles? I'm talking about against a good team if that happens. Like the 40-40 Cowboys Packers game. Are you comfortable in that shootout? Correct? So that's one thing. I love Jalen Hurts. I love his poise. I'll tell you what it comes down to. He I've looked at this hard thinking, okay, let me find something. Kind of like in baseball, Segs, it's not just are you hitting well, is your situational hitting done properly, right? Are you coming up big, hit 227 as a team, but with a runner in scoring position, you're down a run or you're up a run to extend the lead, are you getting that hit? And so how the statistics break down. They are really good at doing the right thing at the right time, Segs. You know what I'm saying? Now, they're not doing it as consistent, yet after a Super Bowl, after all this, they're still sitting undefeated, and most think they're the best team in the NFC, although the Rams may have an argument with them because both are really good. And Detroit ain't half bad, as you had mentioned yesterday as well. Segs, I think it comes down to this, and I know this is so simplistic. When you're used to winning the contagious part of it, I think they've gotten to the point now. I don't think they're lazy. I don't think they're fat and happy. I think they've gotten to the point where they're winning by not playing their best. And that, to me, says that you're a better team than when you're playing your best and you're losing at times and you kind of – so their inconsistency still allowing them, or their non-domination of stats is allowing them to still play good enough football to win when they're not playing their best. And I don't think I've seen them at their best all year long complete yet. When I talk about where they're doing all three phases, top shelf, where going in like a good pitcher, it's like, I got no shot today. One of those. But we know it's in there. So to me, it's they're winning by not playing their best, which is a great way to start September. Number two is there are, and I don't care what anybody says, I've seen it. I've been on teams that have lived both ways, that it is contagious. And the Philadelphia Eagles, when it's 3 minutes to go, they expect to win. I can roll through a bunch of teams that don't. They won't tell you that. You really think the Cleveland Browns expect to win, Segs? The Bengals expect to win late right now? They don't. The Tennessee Titans don't expect. Now, they're hoping. There's a difference. They hope to win. Right. The Rams know they're going to win. The Philadelphia Eagles know, Buffalo knows when they got Josh with the ball or Stafford's got it going on and you're playing zone or man against Puka, or the Philadelphia Eagles know we're down 3 or you're down 3 and we got the ball, we got to go 80 yards. They're going 80 yards. And they've been able to do it, even though the numbers are kind of blah and boring. And you say, how are they winning? Well, I can tell you how. They expect to win. And when the game's at its worst for them or at its best moment of pressure or biggest moment of pressure, they're getting it done. And it's not a mistake when other teams are forced. We think, well, man, who did they win it or lose it? They have a big way of forcing you into game plan problems because of the depth of their football team on both sides. And I think when you play the Philadelphia Eagles, you kind of expect to lose unless your name's Buffalo or maybe a Pittsburgh team that's playing pretty well, a Rams team, a handful of them. Most will tell you that. The Philadelphia Eagles, in their soul, I think they know every week when they come down the tunnel, they're winning. And I think it is a big reason why they can win when they're not playing their best.
Do you think that, because we're starting to see it on the sideline a little bit, rumblings of I don't want to say anger, because I don't know if anger is the right word, but frustrated A.J. Brown. I mean, I just pulled up his stats through 4 weeks. His first game, his first game, 1 catch for 8 yards against Dallas when they barely beat Dallas. Then he come back against the Chiefs. He had 5 catches for 27 yards. Then he kind of broke out against the Rams, had 6 catches for 109 and a touchdown. But then come back last week against Tampa. He had 2 catches for 7 yards. And it's not like Devonta Smith is having these monster games. He had his only really good game the same week that A.J. Brown had his really good game against the Chiefs. Or not the Chiefs, but the Rams, excuse me.
Rams.
So the fact that neither of those guys have gotten going, but we're seeing A.J. Brown be frustrated on the sideline, be frustrated when he's running a route and he thinks he's open, when receivers start kind of just throwing a hand up like, hey, I'm still here. I'm still open all the time. I'm one of the best wide receivers in football, and we know how wide receivers can be. Do you think if this kind of play continues for the next 3-4 weeks that we could see some sort of blow up with AJ Brown? Or if they're still winning, they're able to keep him quote unquote happy just because of the fact that they're 7-0 or 6-1?
And I kind of mean this affectionately because I've played with great players at that position where there's a little volatility where they expect it. And you know what? Who doesn't want a guy that wants the ball as long as you don't become a major distraction to the team? Things I've seen the movie with Philadelphia. I've seen it. I've seen it a bunch of times. And I'm going to tell you why. First off, they've got the right quarterback to handle it because I think things run off his shoulders that if somebody's in his ear, I think he has a unique way of being firm enough but just blowing it off. Because I'll take you back to a couple of years ago. Remember? Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, they're not on the same page.
Right.
Super Bowl win. Not last year, but the year, because going into last year, I don't know. Do we still have our franchise quarterback? I still heard that. They go win a Super Bowl. And Sirianni, how are they going to handle preseason? When I go on shows, how do you think they're going to handle their difference? I said, listen, the head coach, I said, talk to the coordinators and all that. I said, the quarterback coach, that's where he's spending his time. I know guys that don't talk to the head coach for 3 weeks, other than on the field head coach. They don't. So coach can get mad at you. You're dealing with the guy you're dealing with more often. The relationship between those guys is more important than the relationship with the head coach, as long as the head coach doesn't say cut him anyway, but you are going to do that with him. You get my point. The relationship part. There's some guys who confer with their head coach, and some guys, most of the time, just kind of, he's a CEO. He's in a different realm of the world we're in, right? And so you deal with him, but you're dealing with your guy, coordinator, position coach. So with this, I expect it if they're not going good. One is I like it as long as it's not a festering distraction. I want a guy that, well, Baker Mayfield does this as a quarterback, takes accountability, but also, gets after it, get after you a little bit. The good ones do. And if you're thin-skinned, take 2 weeks off, quit, and find a new sport. And if you're Sirianni, you've heard it. It's Philadelphia. You hear you can win by 40, and those fans are passionate. They're still going to, because they wanted to win by 47. You know what you're getting. And as a player, and Segs, and I mean this too, they're receivers, dude. Chase is about to explode, and he damn well did on the sidelines this week. It's coming for a lot of these guys. Why? The frustration of greatness drives them crazy. And I love it as long as it doesn't get to the point where you're such a distraction. I got to send you to the locker room at halftime, or I got to fine you and suspend you every week, or you're getting in the way of our success. I don't have a problem with Des Bryant's fire and A.J. Brown being pissed. If you don't want the ball, then hell, why should I throw it to you? The key here, too, is that if you're Jalen Hurts, you don't get caught up in the let the chatter change your reads where you're like, well, I want to make sure A.J.'s happy, so I'm going to throw it to him. How you do that is you dial up early game planning to get him a hitch, get him a slant right now in the first quarter so he buys in. I've been with receivers that are damn good, that I have in my career, Segs, that if you didn't get them involved early, they kind of went into a little pouting. And Chris Carter wasn't one of them. Don't misunderstand. But throughout my career, but if you get them involved early, they'll take over a game, dude. I'm telling you, 5 catches in the first quarter. It's like I have one in particular that you can forget it. He's involved early. Defense it doesn't matter. He's doing everything. He'll return a punt. He'll kill you. And I loved him. So, but to be able to have a quarterback that doesn't buy into, the chatter's got to force me to force feed when the read says don't throw it there.
Right.
And Segs, I expect this from receivers. I expect frustration. But damn, A.J. Brown 2 years ago, didn't we hear this? Wasn't he frustrated with the quarterback? Wasn't why not getting? I mean, we saw it, and it was early in the season. We said, man, is this going to fester into a problem? And then remember that year, he was validated pre-Kellen Moore. They got rid of the offensive and defensive coordinator, which led to Kellen Moore, Super Bowl coordinator, which led to Vic Fangio, Super Bowl coordinator, and they got back on track. So sometimes even at 4-0, Segs, you kind of need a guy that shakes it up a little bit. And you don't think A.J. Brown, that the Philadelphia Eagles know he ain't getting the ball. He's probably going to be pissed on the team plane ride. He's probably going to be pissed. That's okay as long as it's compartmentalized that he's still going out there and doing his thing. And, you're not embarrassing the quarterback. He's not embarrassing you on the sidelines. I don't care about heated or I don't care about that. As long as it doesn't fester, happens on every sideline. They don't even see a third of the things that go on the sidelines or in the locker room. Right. People don't know how many times guys get cussed out, coach to coach, player to player, player to coach. So this doesn't surprise me at all. And I'm not in the least bit worried about it. Now, Segs, what'll happen is if his production's down, and stays down and they start losing,
Mm-hmm.
it won't only be A.J. Brown that's pissed. It'll start to circulate fans and media. So this is no shock to me at all. And as we sit today, they're 4-0. Hell, I need somebody like the Raiders where they're fighting on the practice field or somebody's mad at somebody, the old school Raiders. I don't care. Pittsburgh Steelers. It's kind of good to make sure you're not getting content. Well, we're off to another undefeated start, man. We're pretty good. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of good as long as it doesn't fester and become, if you're the reason, we got to fix it. If you're just part of the frustration that's going on and you kind of get a little guys riled up, sometimes it elevates guys that are thick-skinned. And if you're not thick-skinned in that city, you're probably in the wrong place. It seems like a pretty thick-skinned team that knows how to win. I think they're going to be okay with the leadership.
And as we said, they're 4-0. This week they've got Denver at home. Then they go play Thursday
night. Better matchup
night
than you thought it was going to be a week ago.
Exactly, especially with Denver's defense and the struggles of the. I don't want to say struggles, but just not what we
average. Thanks for them.
Average offense. Then they played at the Meadowlands, which is now a worry every time you play there because of all the injuries. But that's a Thursday night game, so you're playing a tough Denver defense. Then you're going to the Meadowlands to face the Giants on Thursday on a short week with a field that's been hurting everybody. Then you come back and play at Minnesota the following week. So you get a little mini bye with the Thursday night game. So then you play Brian Flores, which is, has that defense flying around.
Pressure.
Exactly. And then you have the Giants again. So you play the Giants 2 times in 3 weeks. And so, but that schedule is set up that even if they just play well, not average, but well, they're not even playing great, and they're sitting 8-0. And we're just that's the Eagles.
And don't you expect it, Segs?
Yeah.
I do. Now, trust me, they're probably saying, I'd rather seen Russ Wilson. This new energy that the Giants got is a bit of a concern of mine. Although I can assure you this, Vic Fangio is going to force Jackson Dart to sit back in the pocket and deliver it to patient routes. Because, he did it just, hey, man, we're going to press you, and you're a dynamic player, but you're going to have to prove to me as a second game starter that you can get through your progressions without bailing, because if you do that, we're going to put you in a bind in long yardage situations. But there's a different energy with the Giants. Hell, they got 6 sacks last week, and the strength of their team, Segs, is getting after the quarterback.
Yeah.
They've got some monsters up front. So the 2 different games, you're right, they could be – and think about that boost, Segs. 8-0, playing – for them, average football. And then when it gets to what happens, Segs, where the season goes on, you're sitting in a 2-game lead for home field advantage because you know damn well they want it in that building.
Yeah.
And you get to December, and it's December 15th, and you're saying, I'm not going to rest my guys, but there's no stress. So I don't have to play them 70 snaps a game. Guys got a little banged up, which he would have played if it did matter. But it matters, but we don't have to wear ourselves out and carry that stress around that a team like the Texans or the Ravens, if they get hotter in striking distance, are going to have to come up with as we get closer to December. So starting at 8-0, and Segs, I'll be more surprised if they're not 7-1, or for sure 7-1, but 8-0 than I will be if they lost 2 of those games, even the way they're playing. This is a really, really good football team. And a guy like, I think, a Saquon Barkley, getting back to A.J. Brown, I feel like he could walk up to him, even though A.J. Brown's been in the league longer. I think a few years longer, right around the same time, maybe 6. Maybe it's similar. I feel like a guy like that just adds this smile on his face. Hey, man, we're going to be okay. You're going to get yours. I think you need those guys that, hey, man, let it rip. We'll get after it, but let's get back to business, because at some point A.J. Brown's going to catch 12 for $160. It's going to happen.
Right.
It just is. So, but I admire teams that play that aren't playing well and still find ways to win. That's my most intriguing thing about Philadelphia.
And let's remember too, week 1, they beat a bad Cowboys team. I mean, that's not, that wasn't shocking. I think the fact that it was close was the shocking part, but they still beat
probably bothered them more than they wanted it to, because they thought
exactly.
They were it was a double 9.5 or 10.5 point favorite. It was a boat race game, they thought.
Right. And then you go to Kansas City, you beat the Chiefs in a close game. Then then the Rams come to you and you play a great game that you solidify the win with a blocked kick and the big return by Jalen Carter. And then you go to Tampa to play one of the hottest teams in football and one of the best quarterbacks over the last couple of years in Baker Mayfield. and you're sitting 4-0. So you played 3 really good teams.
And
the Dallas Cowboys and a division, and a division foe, and you're sitting 4-0, and you haven't played well yet. I mean, I don't know what more you can ask for if you're an Eagles fan.
People think that the Rams are a Super Bowl caliber team.
Yeah,
they're always, with Mahomes and Andy Reid, they're always going to think they're a Super Bowl caliber team, and Spagnuolo on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And you damn well know, you damn well know that the Tampa Bay is the favorite to win the division, and their quarterback is playing at a high level the last couple of years in Baker Mayfield. And then you get to the Cowboys, which they can score now. They ain't going to stop many people, but they can score. Right. So, and they, like you said, a rivalry divisional game, and they're still 4-0. And we're sitting here bitching and complaining that we haven't seen their best. So they know how to win, Segs. I know that sounds too simple. Sometimes you just can't explain it, right? I mean, you talk to great players sometimes. I don't know how. I don't know how. I just, I see ball, hit ball. I go through my reads, and whatever it is, they're just a unique squad, and you're going to have to do a lot to beat that team hard and consistent. And if they get going on offense, look out. And remember now, Segs, it's another new offensive coordinator.
Right.
Again, so they're still in the defenses are usually ahead of offenses anyway. So they're still getting the feel, regardless if a guy's been on staff or isn't, and you promote within or promote from without. Either way, there's still a learning curve because that guy wants to put his stamp on what he does that's not the same as the previous guy.
Right.
The defensive coordinator is the same, and they'll be around. But they're a really, really good team that's playing average football based on their standards and still winning against teams that 3 of those are going to the playoffs more than likely, and 2 of them at the end of the season are going to be Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, and to make things even better for the Eagles, who don't need really things to get better because you're sitting 4-0 like this, they just opened the return window for Nakobe Dean, their linebacker, who's one of their best defensive players. So they will get him back in the coming weeks as well.
Active.
Must be
nice. I was going to say, talk about an embarrassment of riches. Hey, we're winning, we're 4-0, but that guy who's basically your defensive caller, and I mean, just gets everything going. Thanks. When he was in, the fact that he got drafted because of his size a little lower than he should have. Mm-hmm. When I watched him, you and I might have had the conversation a couple of years ago. When I watched him play at Georgia, he made every play.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, he's not real big and explosive. How's that working out for him now? You're like, how many players are they going to steal from Georgia that just play great defense and disrupt, right? It's like, if you're the Eagles, what's your first stop, Segs? And I'm going to Georgia.
Yeah, I'm going to Athens.
I'm going to get their 8th best player on defense, and he's going to start for me. But Nakobe Dean's been smart, high football IQ, and what a boost it is to add that depth and plug them back in when he gets in. They're just going to be better. And the guy is active and athletic and explosive and fiery. The thought that they can be 4-0 and that there's better out there right now, meaning that they're going to be better, is not a real good prospect, not only for the division, but for the NFC, because against the Rams, like you said, they just came up with a block. I mean, come on, man. That's called finding ways to win. When you know damn well, Stakes, you and I can name a few teams. Your Bears have been through it. My Raiders have been through it. That you find ways to lose. You say, there's no way you lost that game. There's no way you found a way to lose that game. And you do. They find ways to win. It's a special trait to have, and they got it.
And it's funny you brought up my Bears, your Raiders that played each other, that I think we both probably watching that game, you expected probably the block to lose the game, and I expected the kick to go through. And luckily it was my Bears who got the block. So I'm hoping that it's not just, because it's the Raiders, that they just managed to lose games like that. I'm hoping it's Ben Johnson making a difference on the roster. It's the coaching that he's brought in making a difference on the roster.
Here's how I watched that kick.
Fact that it was the Raiders.
Here's how I watched that kick.
Yeah. It's coming.
When you go to a scary movie and you're like, somebody's going to jump out of that closet, and you're like, even though you're like, I'm not worried about this, I'm a tough guy, get that quick urge, you catch you off guard.
Right.
I'm watching this, and you're right. I'm thinking, that dumbass Sager's going to win this game, isn't he? They're going to find a way to get this done, right? And you're thinking, he's swinging through it. It's going to be easy, right? No problem. They're finally getting rolling.
I was sitting watching the game with my son, and I said to him before the kickoff, I go, he's returning this at least to the 40. And I think it went to like the 44. And I just looked at him. I'm like,
playing right into what you expected. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, get used to it, kid. You're a Bears fan. This is life. Like, this is what you deal with week in and week out.
And I actually had that bit of hope when we're going through. I'm saying, okay, hell, Genty's rushed out of his career game. He's playing like we expect. I think he's going to be a great player. And I'm thinking, oh, yeah, we turn it over again. When you turn it over that many times, throw it to the other team, and you throw for like 117 yards, and you get a kick block, and and you let them go the distance on you and to set up there. It's like, come on now, man.
Yeah.
You got to – but, yes, you hit it. I'm like, yeah. And it wasn't in my favor. It was in yours. I was living on hope, and unfortunately, you got that one. But good to your Bears, because I do see improvement with them. I need to see less turnovers. The Raiders got to start to do more, because Max Crosby's playing at an MVP defensive level. He always does. And Genty looks like he's starting to feel pretty comfortable. I just need to see Pete settle them in. Hopefully they will.
Yeah, I expected more from Geno Smith, but it's also different when you don't have DK Metcalf. When you
no doubt.
Smith and Jigba or Noah Fant running around. I know they have Brock Bowers, but he's been injured, for the most part.
We haven't seen the full Brock Bowers yet.
Exactly. So, and Jacoby Myers is a nice player, but I mean, he's not half of what DK Metcalf is. So
Geno's still got to be better at protecting, because he's had a great run in Seattle. They got him for a reason. He's got to. You can't keep turning it over. He knows this, but he's a good quarterback and a really good player. But he knows, even with the lack of weapons, it doesn't mean you still force the ball in a place you can't. You just got to play smarter and be a little more judicious with the football.
Just as things are going well for Geno Smith, their best offensive tackle, Colton Miller's out for weeks with a fractured ankle. Yeah.
Of course he is.
At least it's just, hey, is a bearer of good news. At least it's just a hairline fracture. It's not a full fracture, just a hairline.
You're probably going to ask me or say to me, hey, Sean, Genty's going to just sit out because of load management. He had a lot of carries last week. Great. That's it. Just keep telling me the shit that I don't want to hear about the Raiders. Now, Dr. J is why he changed stance. I'm seeing a lot of guys now in the NFL and college that are now standing like Genty did in college. They're just standing straight up. Yeah, but if it didn't affect him. Chip Kelly wants him to get in a different type of stance. It didn't affect him. Why? Well, you saw the way he ran, so maybe Chip has a little idea. But listen,
Genty went back. Remember?
He did
last week. He went back to standing straight up.
That's a great. I'm sitting here.
Time this year.
I was 2 weeks back. You're exactly right. I went back and I said, wait a minute, because when we saw it early in the year, Chip was trying to have his finger on the pulse and literally on the pulse. That's exactly right. And so what's he do? He goes and bucks for almost $170 and do it, but Chip's still going to try to see if he can implement it. But if it's me, I like, dude, you can stand on your friggin' head if you want, if you're giving me what you gave me on Sunday.
I don't know who the Raiders play this coming week. I can't remember, but let's see if he can do it standing straight up against a better run defense than the Bears, who are worst in football.
Yeah. I don't think his performance in truth had anything to do with the stance. And Chip knows that, but it's that superstition or whatever it is that makes you comfortable. You're exactly right. Segs, when I went to Hawaii, because I was sitting there also thinking, the Eagles and the Rams last week. No, Sean, that was 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, damn, that's exactly right. We mixed in a Colts game too. But the change in stance. But Segs, you know what? He's a trendsetter. I'm seeing guys all over Saturdays and Sundays with Genty's, because nobody else had done it.
Fridays and they do it.
Right. Guys are doing it too. It's like they're teaching it, so it gets back to, well, maybe you stand up, you see more. Maybe you see the hole better. You're not down, and maybe just you're not wasting energy by constant. Whatever it is, it works, and there's a lot of people adopting it. He's probably like, Chip, have you seen around the league? Everybody's doing it. I don't give a shit if everybody's doing it. We're going to do it this way. Well, a good run defense. I'll tell you who they play, Segs. They are playing the Raiders this. Oh, they're at the Colts.
That's right.
They're at Indy. So. And the Colts are better this year. The Colts. I don't think 170 yards is going to be easy to come by this week. They're going to have to throw it some as well, and it's on the road.
Something we talked about yesterday that we would do. Well, it actually happened, and that's the Browns naming Dylan Gabriel their starting quarterback this weekend against the Vikings, which, hey, congrats, third-round rookie. Here's Brian Flores and all his exotic looks coming at you with all his pressure and everything. Figure this out. But they will make the change to Dylan Brooks. And now the thing that, because of course.
And you got to go to London to play them too.
Right, that's right.
You
and
you don't even get to do it on the States, right?
And the Vikings played in Ireland last week, so they've been over there already, so they're going to be adjusted, whereas you're not going to be. So here you go, rookie. First start in the NFL, you got to go overseas, get adjusted to that time, and then face Brian Flores in a really good Vikings defense. Congrats.
Yeah. Welcome to the NFL, my man. Welcome to the NFL.
Now, we knew there would be the people out making a big deal. They're not even making a big deal about the fact that it's Dylan Gabriel starting. But now they want to make the big deal because Joe Flacco's been named the backup. Shedeur stays at QB3. And, I mean, I've seen enough smart football people responding to these idiots like Sam Acho and RG3 I saw making a big deal of it. Like, no. You don't have your rookie, or you're already starting a rookie, so you already have to work with him a ton to get him ready for a Brian Flores defense, and you're traveling overseas. You don't, if he were to get hurt in quarter one, you don't throw another rookie into this scenario. You just go with
got no work.
Yeah,
right,
that's
got no work.
Old that knows. Yeah, exactly. He's got no first team reps. He's not going to get any first team reps, and Flacco's going to be getting the second team because he's the vet and he needs to stay ready. But it's so frustrating to see people take anything with Shedeur Sanders and turn it into an issue. And to me, there's nothing wrong with what Kevin Stefanski's doing by starting Dylan Gabriel. He was drafted higher. He was better in the preseason. And I'm guessing he's been better in practice too.
Yeah. Segs, first off, the guy who's drafted higher usually gets the first go at any position. It's just, whether it's like, unless he's just so bad that he just blatantly gets beat out in training camp. You're like, what did we do here? Rare, but it happens. At least it rarely happens in the first year where you're like, we got this guy in the second round. He can't play a lick of football as a defensive tackle. I got to get him out. The free agent's better. Now, you may see some say that guy practiced, like we saw with John Randall. When John came to Minnesota as a rookie, undrafted, you started watching him. You're like, add him with Dolman and Henry Thomas and that group.
Right. Like, how was this guy undrafted?
Right. Right, and his motor was good. So there are guys like that, but it's rare, right? You got to be and it's rare because John Randall's in the Hall of Fame, so that doesn't happen very often for guys that didn't get a sniff of draft and then come in and dominate everybody. I don't understand this whole situation. One with the chatter. One is it who would you trust more right now to go into a game as the backup without any work if you're trying to win a game? And Stefanski's not trying to lose. Neither is Andrew Berry. Whether you like their decision or not, they want to win. They don't want to get fired. They'd like to keep their job. So if you're not getting work as the starter and you have to make a change in the beginning of the first quarter, the middle of the first quarter, or by halftime, it's just smart right now with that defense because they want to win and they're playing like they can win and they've proven it. You're going to go to the guy who's been in the league forever. It doesn't need the reps this week because he already knows, right? You're not going to just throw a guy in there back-to-back rookies. You're like, what are we doing? Well, they're doing with Jackson Dart. Well, Jackson Dart was a first-round pick, and Russell Wilson has not elevated him, so you're going with Dart. But if they had to go in, here's the difference with them. Their backup can either be Russ Wilson or Jameis Winston because Winston can rip it around a lot, and he's a longtime veteran too. This is a unique situation. Listen, I don't know how good Shedeur Sanders is. We've documented this. I think he's got some skills, and I think he can throw the ball. And I don't know, just like nobody other than those people there know what's going on in meeting rooms with these three guys, meaning who's prepared, if you get him up on the board, how he is, he's not getting any reps. And they want him to start based on his – if you're asking a guy to start based on their college career, let's just say somebody's that dumb.
Right.
If you say, I want to see a guy start based on their college career, well, that decision's triple this because Dylan Gabriel's college career was far better than Shedeur Sanders, period. One more, had better stats, all of it throughout the course of his entire college career, and had him in a playoff. Okay, so I mean, they were in the postseason, right? Mm-hmm. So Dylan Gabriel right now, I don't know if that's going to be the case. Segs by midseason, I don't know how he's going to play this week. I know he's a gamer, and Shedeur Sanders may very well be as well. That's why you better stay ready because even as the third guy, if you allow the front – see, and also what if the test is there, putting Flacco there? How frustrated is Shedeur going to be? Are you still going to stay in tune or are you going to say, oh, I can't believe this if he goes in and not prepare? And then when your opportunity does come, you screw it up because you weren't ready. I would hope that he's staying prepared. I don't have a problem with Flacco being the backup. They're not personal. They're not trying to do anything to make the team worse. If Shedeur was better than Flacco or they felt he gave him a better chance to win, you know what it would say? They would play him. Right now, they feel that Dillon Gabriel, a higher drafted couple rounds before, gives them a better chance. Dillon Gabriel's been a gamer. I'm sure at time at practice, I heard guys, I went on a show in Cleveland, they said, he looks awful in practice. And I told them, Segs, before Dillon Gabriel start in the preseason, I said, here's what he's going to look like. On the practice field, he's going to wobble a pass. You're going to not be impressed by his size. He's not the fastest guy. But when it gets into a game, you're going to see a toughness that a guy dives for a first time. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen with other quarterbacks, but with him, don't judge the ugliness on practice field that you see from a guy who is really good, that has played a lot of football, but is a gamer that just finds ways to get it done. I've seen those guys too. And like I said, when Shedeur's time, and at some point it'll find him and he'll get a chance. But all this talk, Segs, I actually believe, and Dr. J reminded me of this because I was thinking about this a couple of weeks ago on my local morning show. I actually think there are people who are looking that would rather have the Browns lose and Gabriel fail so Shedeur Sanders could play. I believe that. I believe there's part of it. And that's a great – that's why I said people. I'm not just speaking of fans. Oh, there's no doubt there's fans that will have the Shedeur, in London or when they're back home, that have that jersey. I get it. I understand you got your favorite player. But if you're basing it on their college career, well, then that's an easy decision, which you shouldn't. But the people are like, well, haven't you seen him? He played in one preseason game, and so Gabriel played more and played his preseason numbers and his preseason tape was really strong, Dillon Gabriel's game-wise. So if you're like, no, man, you should have seen him in college. I did. Dillon Gabriel was a better college player through the course of time, sustained. And he won more. Well, they're on Oregon. Yeah, that's part of it. Good players, you play better, so that's the way it works. That doesn't mean Shedeur Sanders can't play. For me, I just don't understand. I still don't understand what it is you're asking for. Okay, if I'm a Browns fan, I want Dillon Gabriel to play out of his mind so you can win. And if he plays out of his mind, and if Shedeur Sanders gets a chance to play out of his mind, then we'll have some good decisions to go get an asset in the offseason, right? If that's the case, then you can choose who gives you the better chance. But I do believe, and I can't fathom that your emotion for somebody would take over your wanting to win. When they sit in the meeting room, do we really honestly think that Stefanski's sitting there saying, I got to play Gabriel because I don't want all the pub that, hell, he's already getting interviews as a third guy. When he's the first guy they're going to do interviews, you've already prepared for that when a Sanders is in the building because of the name and the popularity and where all the lightning rod. That's the way it is. I listen. If Shedeur got the start, I'd be rooting my ass off for him because I think he's got some skills. Segs, he's not overly athletic, and Dillon Gabriel isn't either. But for what they need, and you're going to get pressure, especially pressure. Who do you think you'd want to start more? Gabriel's got more movement, dude. It's just going to give you a better chance of versatility because this is a 9-sack game if you got a guy who's a rookie, doesn't know where to throw it. Not that he's not good. They can ask Aikman how that felt early in his career when he got sacked, 11 times by Philly? And it's just part and parcel to the growth of the position. Root for Dillon Gabriel. Root for Shedeur Sanders. Have your favorites. I don't care. But right now, there's no way Shedeur Sanders belongs starting over Dillon Gabriel. And if he's not getting work with the ones, I've got to have a guy ready that doesn't get snaps to go in and play. Now, inevitably, at some point in the season, if they keep losing, you may see both. But if Gabriel's playing well, Shedeur will get the chance to be the backup. He just – because you're going to get to a point where Joe's going to call it quits at the end of the year, or if he doesn't another year. You're going to get to the point where you got to see what you got even if he's a backup because he's getting more reps, right, Segs? But the hope should be that Dillon Gabriel plays out of his mind and you win games. And if Shedeur plays, you hope that he goes in there and keeps the job, and then you're going to have to make a decision. But I don't know what tells you that Shedeur Sanders should be the starter against the Minnesota Vikings. Nothing. Not a damn thing other than people's emotional tie-ins to the fact that he's Deion's son. Now, you watch him throw. He looks good in a uniform. He had a good preseason game, got some moxie and confidence. I love it. But what you saw in the preseason, even with Dillon Gabriel, is going to be a lot different than the different looks you're going to see on Sunday in a regular NFL game. And Gabriel's going to look bad at times, and he'll make some plays. The question is, will he make more than they've been making? So if you're a fan or media, I can guarantee you half the media is begging for Dillon Gabriel to fail. Oh, they're the ground. So, dude, they won't tell you that, but I promise you they are. Even in a win, so they can get him in there. Okay.
No matter what.
If they win, say, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Let's say they win 16-10, and he has an average game. You know what they're going to say? Oh, it wasn't because of him. Start Shedeur. Shedeur would have had him win 28-13, and maybe. But right now, it's like haven't been in the situation. The third guy, a second guy, a first guy. You got to be around it every day to understand what these coaches are seeing. Now, if Gabriel falls on his ass 3 straight weeks, Shedeur will, put it this way, even though Flacco's the backup like Jameis Winston was, he'll jump him. If you lose 3 in a row and the quarterback's the reason, Shedeur will get a chance to play and start. He'll jump him for the start, but right now in an in-game situation, not getting work, you got to play Flacco. I can't believe the stupidity of some of the people I see in sports and fans. And Cleveland's got great fans, but there's always those ones that, Shedeur earned this job. From what?
Yeah.
Not the preseason, not college. From what? Oh, he should be the backup. And maybe if you want to argue that it's time to move on from Flacco, we've seen enough. I get it. But as the starter, there is no question. And you should not be rooting for Dillon Gabriel to fail. If you do, you're just a dumb shit. Okay. Yeah. And if Shedeur gets in there and you're a Gabriel fan, you should not be rooting for Shedeur to fail because you don't want the pomp and circumstance that goes with it. There's one stat. Go win me games, and whoever can do it, do it. Gabriel deserves this start more than Shedeur Sanders does based on not only where they were drafted, but it's obvious to the Browns. They saw more in preseason that leads them to believe that he gives them a better chance right now. We'll see down the road.
Yeah, it reminds me of back to the NFL draft. Remember, you're sitting watching ESPN, and Mel Kiper is just dumbfounded by the fact that Shedeur didn't go in the top 10 picks.
Let alone the first pick of the draft.
Yeah, let alone, was dumbfounded that he wasn't one. And then he was going crazy at pick 10 that he still hadn't been drafted. Then we're sitting on day 3, and Mel's just like,
I thought we were going to have to get an oxygen tank for him, dude. Oh, yeah.
And the funny part is now I think it's funny. The fact that Shedeur turned down the Baltimore Ravens, basically said, no, do not draft me. He could be starting this week for the Baltimore Ravens against the Houston Texans. I mean,
be careful what you wish for, buddy. Right?
Exactly.
Be careful what you wish for.
It's funny to see that, because I'm sure when the Browns called and he's like, yeah, I'll 100% beat out Dillon Gabriel. Deshaun's hurt, so that don't matter. And Joe Flacco's like 100. Like, I'll walk into this job. Like,
I can guarantee you he thought that. Guarantee you he did. And I don't blame him for thinking that, but it would be a shame if he allowed all the pomp and circumstance and hype around him to engulf him as opposed to studying and being ready. Because 5th-round quarterbacks, when your opportunity is presented and you don't seize it, they will move on from you even faster than you think they already did. And it doesn't matter if it's Shedeur Sanders or anybody else. Right. You don't get many chances. Like a first-rounder will get 3 years.
Right.
Unless you're Anthony Richardson and you throw for 48%.
Well, yeah.
You may not get 3 years. You may only get a couple of them, right? And that's part of the process. And maybe he'll surface there or somewhere else, but he better be ready if the opportunity presents it again. In this case, I would treat it like you're preparing like a backup or preparing like a starter and training like a backup, meaning working hard on the reps, get your extra throws in for an hour afterwards so you get that work. Go pick the brain of your guys, keep staying involved, and then when you get the opportunity as a 5th round, don't give it back. Dillon Gabriel's right now goal is that this is it. I am the Browns quarterback from here forth. That's how he is thinking.
Yeah.
Now, good luck making constant plays again. But you're going to have opportunities to make big plays on the perimeter, Segs, if they can get open, because Brian Flores is going to blitz him. And he's going to find whatever weakness it is they have offensively. He will do everything he can to exploit it. But he's got better feet than Shedeur does, and that's an advantage. At least it gives them broken play advantage. Shedeur is probably a better pure thrower of the ball. But the Browns believe that the grasp of what they're trying to do gives Dillon a better chance right now. And that's okay. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah. So we'll wake up. That game starts 8:30 a.m. Central Time because they are in London at Tottenham Stadium. The Browns versus the Vikings. Now, some good news out of Washington. So I was just looking to see who they play. They're at the Chargers this weekend. Jaden Daniels has been cleared, and he will practice today and hopefully tomorrow to get ready for that game. So he could return this weekend, which is a big deal for Washington. And because, I mean, Mariota, one of the best backups in football. But there's a reason he is a backup. Yes.
That's exactly right.
He's a backup quarterback that you would love to have on your team for this specific reason. When your starter, like Jaden Daniels, goes down, that he can come in and give you 2 or 3 starts and win you a football game or 2 and keep you in the hunt in your division.
That's his job, and that's why he gets friggin' paid, dude.
Yep.
And you may not like the role, but you better embrace it because you got a superstar in front of you. But listen, the Washington's a different, even with Mariota's feet, Segs, they're a different team with Daniels because of his accuracy. He's just a playmaker, man. He's a great football player. I hate seeing him banged up. Washington has a better chance. It's important that he get back in that lineup as soon as possible.
One last thing. How much does Jaden Daniels have to change his game so the injuries don't continue? Because he's slim. He's like RG3. And I know they wear the same or close to the same uniform when they were both rookies and second-year players, that they have that same style of running, and they're slim, and they get hurt when they get hit, and they get hit a lot. Does he have to change his game quite a bit?
Yeah, thanks. I don't know about quite a bit, but he's got high football IQ. He has to apply that when he leaves the pocket and goes. See, this hero stuff that is normal for quarterbacks, sometimes you just can't be a hero. If there's a brick wall there, the brick wall is usually going to win. And there's a safety and 2 linebackers. He has got to go back and study when to get down. I'm serious. It's so crazy you asked this. I go on Matt Moscata's show in Louisiana, who's great. Yeah. You've heard it. We've talked about it. And Matt does a great job. But 2 years ago, 3, we were talking about this. And even last year when we talked about, Jaden, because it's LSU and how's he progressing in the NFL? Do you know what it always – we're trying to find the weakness. You know what his weakness was when he first got to LSU? He wasn't a big chance taker on the deep ball. Wasn't a great deep ball thrower. Spent time doing it. And his last year when he won the Heisman and became that pick, he became an outstanding deep ball thrower. Right. So he worked on a weakness. If you don't drive the golf ball or you don't hit pitching wedges, don't go not work on pitching wedges. If you drive the golf ball well, good. I'll get that last to my back. Go hit wedges. He did, and now he's great at it. Do you think about this, Sakes, going into his rookie year and while he's playing? Do you know, I said, you know what his weakness is? His inability to know when not to take people on and when to get down. You just can't keep doing it because you're no good to me handing me Gatorade as the backup as opposed to you in a hat and staying involved. Great kid, great football IQ, explosive, dynamic player. Somebody has got to get in his head and say, listen, if we're up 21 in the middle of the second quarter, although the game's not over, and it's 1st and 10, and you break out and give us 7 yards, dude, get down.
Yeah.
Now, if nobody's there, or it's if it's third, it's the fourth quarter, it's 4th and 10, and you break out, you got to run through 80 guys to get me a first down. That's just what you do. But there's a way to – nobody's questioning if he's tough. Hell, we all know he's tough. You've already proven that. Where you're going to prove stupidity, and he's not dumb, I'm talking about the football IQ of, dude, let it go. There's a time, 4th quarter, 3rd and 10, go get me a first down on the scramble. We're down 7. We need another possession.
Right.
1st and 10, we've scored on our first 3 possessions. You got me 8 yards. We still got 3 downs to get 2 yards. We're going to be okay, dude. Get your ass down. Don't take on a 245-pound linebacker that's about to destroy you. Don't do it. Get that. And they're going to help you up thinking, thank goodness you didn't take me on. There's a time and a place, and that's not it. That is the biggest weakness in his game, his inability to understand when and when not to take players on. He doesn't need to prove his toughness anymore.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for us today. Quick update on the poll question that we will have one up new every single morning. We have a show. Who should start in place of Joe Flacco? Dylan Gabriel is still ahead at 52.3%. We have nobody's keep Joe Flacco starting at 28, and Shedeur Sanders is now under 20%.
That's how I expected it, Stiggs. That's how it should be voted on now. Yeah. And I voted on it. I put Dylan Gabriel now.
Yep.
Now. Talk to us in a month or what have you, see how it rolls out. But that's what it should be now. But I am shocked. I thought it would be overwhelming Shedeur Sanders. I did, just with the groundswell. But it feels like people that are voting, the smart football people, at least as we sit here, one's a little more ready than the other one because he's got more work. and was drafted higher. That's the pecking order. Now, when the opportunity comes, go change the pecking order. That's your job when you get an opportunity. And if it doesn't rear its head one time this year as a rookie, guess what he needs to do? Get in line. It happened plenty. Mahomes was pretty good. He only got one start his rookie year. So he's pretty good. So we'll see how it goes. But Cleveland needed a spark on offense, and they needed more versatility because Joe is really smart, but he can't move back there anymore. They got to start. They got to start because the defense is going to start getting overly frustrated if you don't start giving them some points to go on. You can't expect them to pitch 10-point games every week.
Or at least the upside of a young quarterback, what they could be instead of a 40-year-old Joe Flacco who isn't getting anything done right now.
Similar to, even though different rounds drafted, isn't it kind of similar energy-wise to what you see in New York?
Yep.
Russ Wilson, I know what he's bringing and what he's not. We're not winning. I need a spark. Right. And if Dylan Gabriel doesn't give it to you, guess who may? Maybe Shedeur Sanders. But right now,
maybe he does.
Brown fan base, you should be begging with all the tough times you've gone through quarterback. You should be hoping. What a shock. The guy who wasn't a first-round pick is the one who panned out. And maybe Dylan Gabriel will be that guy. But you got to give him a look. I promise you he'll be prepared, Segs. Now, how he deals with Brian Flores' looks will be another whole category because the Vikings are pretty damn good on both sides of the ball right now. Even though they're not dominating, they're still pretty damn good. And Flores will give you looks that you're like, damn, I feel like 15 people are rushing. You'll have to be prepared for that.
Tomorrow, we'll obviously let you know who won the baseball games today. We've got a game going on right now. Let me quick pull it up. It is 1-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning between the Tigers and Guardians. So we'll talk about all those games tomorrow. We'll talk about the great Thursday night game that we have between the 49ers and Rams. I'm excited for that one. And
can't wait.
We didn't get to it today, but we'll definitely get to it tomorrow. College openings. There's 5 big openings right now. How many more could or should there be? I know we'll talk
which one's the best job, Segs? Which one's the best job that's open? Perfect.
Yes, I know we'll talk about 2 that could possibly be open here soon, and it's 2 we've talked about. I've got 2 others I want to throw at you that I think with what's going on and how things have went the last few years that I think it may be time for those big schools to make a change as well. And if you have any, we'll throw them out there as well.
I wonder if one of them hits close to home.
Maybe not.
All right. Good tease. We'll find out tomorrow because I don't know what your other 2. I don't know any of them right now that you have. We haven't talked about. I
think you can figure out 2 that we've talked about, but the other 2, I just, I was thinking about it last night and this morning, and I've come to the conclusion that I think it's time.
And I'm going to tell you a job too, Segs. One of them that has the potential, like another one, maybe we've discussed it with you on here since you started the show, that has the potential to be really big if they'll buy into one thing.
Yeah.
That another team in the country has bought into that very kind of similar to how you looked at them at times, that I think is an underrated job, even though it's a big one. How's that?
Right. Yes, perfect. And then we'll talk NFL games coming up this weekend, college football games. We're going to start on Fridays doing our 3 bets of the week between NFL and college. We'll pick 3 games that, the bigger games of the weekend, and we'll pick them against the spread. We'll tell you about the over-under. We'll do all that. And then maybe even do we'll each pick an underdog of the week between college and NFL. We just each pick one underdog, and we'll see who does better. See who you should be believing in when you go to your phone and you're pulling up your FanDuel or whatever you bet on.
It'll take you 5 years to catch up to me, dog.
When I make you millions, just send me like $1,000. That's all I'm saying.
There you go. It's just a little finder's fee, right?
Yeah, just a little finder's fee.
A little finder's fee. Segs, with this football and betting, one team now that shockingly is that underdog this week, just a teaser, Segs. When's the last time the Baltimore Ravens at home were an underdog to a 1-3 team? They are the underdog to a 1-3 team. The line I saw, I don't know if it's changed since my show. They are the underdog to a 1-3 Texans team in their building. When's the last time that happened? I don't know if you can find it. I'm not if they're an underdog against Buffalo or Kansas City coming in. I'm talking about they're on a team that has the same record than them, that is not playing good football offensively. They're going to, I know all the injuries in Lamar, but still, same record, They're a dog in their own building right now, and the Texans are coming to town.
Yeah, sitting at 1.5, and the over-unders at 39.5. Jeez, they're not expecting much offense in that.
Which means it ain't going to be that. And that's saying so because Baltimore's defense has not. So you're saying,
right,
who's the worst of the worst? Is it the offense for the Texans, the Ravens defense?
Yeah.
Which basically. One's going to give? Yeah. And you know what usually says when they go that low on the under, take the under. Take the under, usually. Because
they always say
the highest over, lowest.
Yep.
Yep. The highest, if the one's at 90 points and an over in college football, take the over. They're getting 105 of them. It's going to be 52-48 or 55-52, whatever it is, 107 points. And if it's at 29 and Iowa's playing, take the under. Just like this, lean under, but we'll talk about that Friday.
Yep. So enjoy your baseball day with all 4 games. Game 2's going on today, and good luck to the Yankees as they try and stave off elimination.
No, good luck to you. No,
good luck. Okay.
Here's what Roy would tell you.
Rodon's kind of my guy. I was going for Crochet last night as a former White Sox. Now I got Rodon going for the Yankees.
Good. Don't spoil Crochet's year with the Red Sox. You want him to win and move on, dude. Okay.
Okay, fine.
I'm going to let Rory cuss you out for you not taking your game to a higher standard.
Bring it on. I'll beat that little bitch's ass. He doesn't want no part of me, and I can barely move anymore.
He'll stick Terrell Hatton on your ass. So be careful, man.
That was Rory all weekend. Yell and then move his caddy in front or whoever he was playing with.
Yeah, where's that big bastard John Rahm at? I want him in front of me, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that'll do it today. Thanks to Triple E. Thanks to Laura. Thanks to you, Sean. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Central, as always, talking baseball, football, and a little college football as well. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.